Delta shareholders have approved appointment of BEE Trust as asset manager. Now, the new company will be wholly owned by a trust to be established for the benefit of black employees. Now, joining us now for more on this is Bronwyn Corbett. She is the Chief Financial Officer and Chief Operating Officer of Delta Property Fund. Thank you so much for joining us today. So, shareholders voted today. Tell us what unfolded.
So it's been an interesting time for us in the listed property space. So the nuances of these external management companies are always a talking point in the property sector. And what Delta's achieved today with a 99% vote from its shareholders is that for the first time in the listed property space, we've been able to create an external management company that's there for the benefit of its employees. So the individuals that work on the Delta account specifically on a day-to-day basis, the BE individuals, will now be able to benefit from an asset management company. And the relevance of this is that these external asset management companies have always been seen or perceived to be get-rich schemes for individuals. And what the Delta board decided to do is to create something different, something that actually furthers empowerment. You know, Delta is a level 2B property charter rated company. We've got the best rating in the property listed space currently. So empowerment is absolutely key for us. And it's not just about empowerment at top level, but it's how to get that empowerment and that benefit down to the people that are actually working there. So the benefit for us is twofold. One, it's our BE staff. Secondly, we've got a lot of women that are sitting in there. And the relevance of that is that in the property sector, the appearance of women is not there. So if you look at the listed space on an executive level, I think currently there's one female CEO in the listed space, and there are 3 female executives in the property listed space. That's out of 30 companies. So we have got a lot of BE women that will be sitting in that manco that will now benefit out of the external management company that we'll be able to bring up into the executive level. So we're extremely excited about this. And I think it's what empowerment is actually. It's not just empowering a top level of people, but actually penetrating down.
I asked this to Ian earlier when we spoke about this. I mean, is this the future of BEE transactions and how they're actually carried out?
I hope so. I think, you know, for me, and I do hope so, and why I say that is that what it does is that due to the lack of skills and the lack of BE skills, especially in the listed property space, you know, what this does is that it enables a different level of person now to come up and to be, you know, present in this manco for a long period of time, which means we're able to retain these skills within Delta.
Can I just ask a question
Please,
that's right then relevant to what you've just been saying?
Yes.
In that you did mention that you now have an external asset management company. Is that not saying that those abilities to manage weren't available internally? And why not? Why hasn't there been people groomed to assume these sort of responsibilities, to manage these assets and not have to pay for the satisfaction of having an independent company doing this?
Okay, so just to give you some history, our manco has always been external. So when Delta listed, because we had government properties and government leases, the Department of Public Works put a condition on us to say, if we're going to allow you to list these BE leases, we need to see an external management company. So we've always had an external management company. What we've done is that there were certain shareholders, a handful of them that were beneficiaries of this external management company. The board took a decision due to internal issues that had taken place between those shareholders to actually cancel that manco contract and appoint a new manco provider on exactly the same terms. So the shareholders don't lose out at all, and that's why we had a 99% vote. But what it does now is that it brings in a whole different level of BE-ness into the structure, not just 4 or 5 individuals, but 30 individuals that can now partake in an external manco structure. So, so just that's to answer your question, is that there isn't a new structure. And the benefit of this is that all the employees that were sitting in the old manco structure have now been moved across. So that RP and that skills that we talk about, and you know, we started this fund in the unlisted space 7 years ago, my partner and I, and you know, what has been, you know, we've been able to empower staff through the structure. So it's those staff that will now benefit from the listed holding going forward.
it will certainly set up as an example, hopefully to be followed.
I hope so. I hope so. And I think that's why our shareholders have been so supportive of it, because it brings a different angle. And, you know, in the property industry, the new property sector charter has been spoken about. At SAPOA, it was a big spoken about topic. And there just doesn't seem to be enough being done, and there's a lot of frustration. And I think we've set a precedent, and I think I'm hoping that other guys will follow us. I mean, I'm very excited. I think it's an exciting initiative that our board has put together.
Right.
Well, we'll certainly be looking into that space. And I know for one thing, I'm going to be now hunting down the women in this industry and see what can be done. I mean, these are numbers that I didn't know. One chief executive.
One CEO out of just over 30 listed companies, and there's 2 executives, including myself. So it's quite a frightening. I mean, that's I suppose a topic for another day.
Yeah,
but it's quite frightening statistics. And Delta, we contribute to a women's property network, which is a bursary scheme. We contribute a significant amount of our socio-economic development spend on an annual basis, and that's specifically women empowerment, getting them into the sector, because there's a huge gap at the moment. So it's very interesting.
Certainly. All right, that was Bronwyn Corbett. She is the CFO and CEO of Delta Property Fund. I also want to thank Ian Cruikshanks, our guest who's been here taking us through the SA market, as well as weighing in on some of the discussions that we've had here. And that concludes our look at the South African market. Don't forget to email the show or follow us on Twitter. After the break, we shift our focus to West Africa. Closing Bell Africa returns after this.